Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fuel for Thought podcast. And it's Singapore.
Night race.
Night race. Love it. Love night races.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Cool track.
Singapore is a cool track. I feel like there's a lot of racing around it. Sometimes
tight racing.
Yeah, tight racing. Well, yeah.
For a street track.
Obviously, there's racing around it, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Yeah, but if you said that about Monaco, then you'd be being silly.
Yeah, exactly. Can get 3-4 wide.
Some parts, yeah.
Some cars might crash out.
Let's put it this way. It was the only race last year that Red Bull didn't win. Mm-hmm. And for that reason alone, it's a good track.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it was, by default, the most exciting race of last season.
Do you know what? I was actually thinking, obviously Red Bull weren't good here last season. Obviously they had a dominant season. They're not good at the moment.
Dominant? Yeah.
Yes, all right, understatement.
Yeah.
They're not good at the moment. What if they Uno reverse card it?
Oh, God.
And they, 1-2 in Singapore?
Don't put that out. Don't put that out into the world. Come on.
Their car's not good on any other track apart from... They've made their car good for Singapore.
We've had a good run without hitting the Dutch national anthem.
Talking about Red Bull, though, they have dropped their livery for this weekend.
Because of weight, yeah.
Yeah, which is a fan-made livery.
That's it's quite telling, I think.
Yeah.
You know, where they're at kind of, internally.
I don't think that the weight is their main problem, though. The weight of the car.
It's not, but, every gram helps in F1.
I suppose so, yeah. Yeah. Talking about livery.
Yeah.
To mention?
Isn't there, is there more than one this time around? So, the one I'll mention is Mercedes. Celebrating 50 years of Petronas, who are also, I think they're Malaysian Petronas, which is also a Southeast Asian country. So, the silver bits on their car are going to be cyan Petronas blue, which is interesting. Kind of looks like an Aston Martin under some lights.
Yeah, it might get a bit confusing. You know when sometimes in the races, the sun, the shade shines, the shade kind of goes on the cars, and it's sometimes hard to see between the Ferrari and the McLaren because the orange sometimes looks red. It might be like that with the it's a night race.
Well, night races make the liveries really pop and really shine, and they look really good. So
I think Lando Norris has a special helmet as well.
Of course he does. He always has a special helmet.
Exactly. But yeah, I think if I was a driver, I'd have a special helmet in Singapore, just in a night race, because it just makes the helmets pop.
Yeah. Well, Lewis's Abu Dhabi helmets are always sparkly.
Yeah. Yeah.
They always look really cool.
Yeah. I think I'd have a special helmet every race. Obviously you have a signature one, but
yeah.
I'd get carried away with it, I think.
Then your house would be full of helmets.
Yeah, exactly. Just have a helmet room.
Yeah. Anyway, we digress. Last year, as we were saying, was good. Carlos won it.
Yep.
So he was the only Red Bull driver to win last year.
Yep.
George should have won it, but the last lap.
Yeah, that was sad.
Bumped the wall, innit?
Remember that. That was devastating, to be fair. As a George Russell fan, that was not.
I was on holiday last year, so I couldn't watch it live. But even watching the highlights, I was like, "Oh my God, no!" I can't imagine live.
Yeah.
But I think the issue was though.
What?
You could hear the cheers of the crowd, and Carlos Sainz was leading.
Yeah, it's always rough for George. He needs to be careful when Carlos Sainz is leading, and you can hear the roar of the crowd.
Well, it's only happened twice, but it's kind of suspicious that it's happened more than once.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Once is a coincidence, but that's not true.
Yeah,
that's not right. That doesn't make sense.
But yeah, and it was quite a good tactical move as well from Sainz.
Yeah, definitely.
Backing Norris into his DRS train so that George couldn't get past Norris because Norris wasn't really a threat to Carlos.
Yeah, and I think obviously that was beneficial for Lando as well, even though obviously I'm sure Lando would have wanted to win.
But they weren't up there that
No, and
season.
I think his tyres were... I think Carlos was on the oldest tyres, from what I remember. Obviously, it was a year ago. But Lando wasn't on... Obviously, George and Lewis both put on fresh tyres, so they were both trying to take the two leaders. But yeah, it was beneficial for Lando to let Carlos do that. That was really clever driving from Carlos.
It was good.
Very impressive.
And he had to tell his team, like, it was one of those Ferrari just trying to blunder their way through a race.
Yeah.
And Carlos be like, no, this is my strategy.
Yeah, he makes his own strategy.
And
He's Carlos, though.
I think it's worked out for him more often than not.
Yeah, I agree. Some debate whether Lewis and George should have been swapped in that race.
Well, they both pitted at the same time, so
Yeah, double stacked.
there's no real reason for them to have swapped. So apart from Lewis maybe getting a better chance of winning, but I don't know. From what I saw, it was George getting stuck behind Lando, so that was
yeah.
it. But
yeah, Red Bull went basically nowhere last time in Singapore.
yeah, so I don't remember where Max qualified. It was like, was it sixth or lower?
I think sixth.
Yeah.
I think sixth.
Yeah, it was weird of that season being how it was to see a Red Bull fighting the likes of a Mercedes, the Mercedes overtaking it and fighting a McLaren, and kind of, we wouldn't look twice now this season.
No, you'd expect it. You'd expect the McLaren and the Mercedes and the Ferrari to be ahead.
But last year, when they won 21 races,
Yeah,
it was so odd.
Yeah.
but relatively so exciting. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
and it could have been anyone's race last year. Obviously, Carlos, I'm pretty sure he started in pole and he won. But it could have been Carlos's, Lando's, George's, Lewis's.
It's a bold strategy by Mercedes that almost paid off.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but fair play to Ferrari for
Yeah.
getting it over the line.
Yeah. They always seem to do that a little bit every season.
There's one DNF last year, wasn't there?
Yuki Tsunoda
No. Yeah. Well, no. Technically, George DNF'd as well.
and Logan Sargent.
And Logan Sargent. That's right. Oh yes. No. Yeah. Yeah. Because there was and Esteban Ocon.
Yeah, there was actually one DNF turns into 4.
Yeah. Sorry.
I think it. Yeah.
Yeah, because they were the cause of the 2 safety cars.
Yeah.
And Tsunoda pulled off the track.
Yeah. Which is a shame for Tsunoda. Obviously, DNF'd
Yeah,
last.
quite appropriate
Yeah.
for recent events, isn't it?
Yeah. Hopefully doesn't DNF again this race. That'll be
Was it?
3 in a row.
Yeah, the last 2 races he's DNF'd.
Yeah.
And last year he DNF'd. No, sorry, last race we didn't mention it because, he got a massive hole in the side pod from Lance Stroll.
Yeah.
For being ahead at a corner, Lance Stroll just diving up the inside where he had no business being, and then blaming Tsunoda for
Yeah.
it, ruining his race.
Not very lucky man at the moment, Yuki Tsunoda.
No, certainly not. But Stroll DNF'd as well, I think, last race.
He
think,
did.
yeah.
He did, yeah. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
I can't remember. I don't know if this is true, but I feel like Singapore last year only kind of really got exciting in the last, 5 laps or something.
Well, it was exciting because obviously the 2 safety cars, which caused everyone to dive into the pits, and it's always a bit different when that happens.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You had the Mercedes double stack both times. You had Ferrari double stacking the first time, which compromised Charles because he had to wait.
Yes.
He had to wait for Lewis because Lewis was double stacking, and they had to slow stop, and so that's when it kind of gets exciting. But apart from that, and then Mercedes stopping again, having to make a couple overtakes.
Yeah, maybe I'm remembering a different race then.
Yeah, so as I say, relative to the rest of the season, it was an exciting race.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully it's the same this time around. There's some corners where cars can go 3 wide, 4 wide, and hopefully we get to see some racing around there.
We will, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm very
it's such a good track.
looking forward to this one.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, shall we get into some predictions?
Yes, let's indeed.
I think we should.
We should. I think of my predictions on my drive home from work, and I sit there and think, who do I feel is going to be ahead this weekend?
Yeah.
And I'm quite confident, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what? I've predicted Charles on pole
The last 2
to
times.
win the last 2 times. I was correct. So, you never know. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so qualifying,
Yes.
I've put George Russell in P3.
Okay, I can see it. Mercedes are up and down at the moment, but were strong at the circuit last year. Mm-hmm. Is that what you're basing it off of?
Yep. I can see. I think this is going to be a strong track for them.
Yeah.
Do you want to go through your P3 or do you want me to go through mine?
Do you want me, shall I go P3?
Yeah, tell me yours.
I have done something similar.
Oh,
Lewis Hamilton.
okay.
Just because Mercedes, he's due a good qualifying because actually he self-admittedly said in a bit of a self-deprecating interview, I think it's 2 races ago, that qualifying has been weak for him recently.
Yeah.
So I think he's due to put in a strong performance in qualifying. And historically has been really good at qualifying around this track.
Yeah. I just think it was tempting for me to put Lewis instead of George, but George has beaten Lewis. I don't know what the score is, but it's quite high for George to beat Lewis in qualifying. So I just thought if any Mercedes was going to be in the top 3 in qualifying, it would be George.
You're probably right. I'm just thinking back to, when Lewis is putting stonker of a lap.
You're a Lewis Hamilton fan. That's okay.
Well, there's like a famous lap of him qualifying around here where I think he was in a different country the day before, just flies over and just puts it on pole in one of the, it's quoted as one of the best qualifying laps ever.
Yeah.
So I think that was like 2017 or something.
Okay.
I can't remember. I might be wrong, but stuff like that makes me still believe that Lewis Hamilton still got it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. P2, I've put Oscar Piastri. He is doing very well at the moment. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like even though Oscar's obviously he would be head of the championship if the championship started, I don't know, seven races ago. I still have my faith in Lando Norris. I think he's going to get pole.
Oh, you put him on pole.
I put Lando on pole and Oscar in P2.
Okay.
And obviously, from looking at the last few races, is that smart from me? But
it's a safe bet. I feel like it's got to happen eventually. Like how strong they are. I know they're actually a lot. Other teams are a lot closer to them than they were. And it depends on. It has depended on the track quite a lot.
Yeah.
But I put in P2 Lando Norris, and I haven't put Piastri at P1, but I put Norris in P2. I just think Piastri, while we are full of praise for him, there's still a little bit of consistency that he could be at the next level of consistency.
Yeah.
Same with Norris.
Yeah,
but,
definitely. Yeah.
Especially with qualifying, Piastri hasn't stuck it in the same, area as Norris as consistently.
I think Norris is more consistent at qualifying than Piastri, and Piastri's more consistent in the race than Norris.
Yes, but Norris's peaks has been higher.
Yeah.
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 So that's my reasoning for that. So
I'm thinking about the last few races rather than overall as a whole.
So I'm saying Piastri is not in the top 3. I've put, and I'm taking a leaf out your book, Charles Leclerc.
Oh, pole position.
Yeah, he's just the pole merchant.
He is the pole merchant.
And Ferrari were good around here last year. Why not? Why doesn't he stick it on pole?
I would love that. 3 poles in a row for Charles. That would be
He just needs to win from
incredible.
pole.
Yeah. He won from pole.
In Monaco.
Not Monza? No, Lando Norris was on pole, wasn't he?
Yes. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, in Monaco. And you compared Singapore... No, I'm joking. I was going to say you compared Singapore to Monaco, but that was a joke. Okay, yeah. I'm on board with that.
Yeah, I'm just basing it on statistics of Ferrari qualifying well last year. Where did they qualify? 1 and 3?
1 and 3,
1 and 3.
because who was in the middle?
George Russell.
Yeah. Was he?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I think George qualified P2 last year.
Yeah,
Got overtaken on the line by Charles.
Yeah.
So, let's see.
You could be the prediction master this week.
You're probably just going to be right.
Yeah. I'm going to be like, wow.
I'm straying away from the safe bet, McLaren 1-2, and just boom, McLaren 1-2.
The thing is, though, I feel like there is some logic to it, but it's not as logical as last year.
No.
Last year, if you wanted to safe bet, you'd put Max Verstappen on pole and to win. But this year, it's not. You just don't know.
It's great.
Every race is different.
It's great.
It is great.
Righto, the race.
The race. Okay, so this is a bit crazy, to be fair. This is what I epiphanized. Is that a word?
Sure, it is now.
Epiphanized in the car on the way home from work. Epiphanated. Okay. Race, I've put Lando Norris in P3.
Ooh, your boy.
My boy in P3.
Why? What's going to happen?
Honestly, pure vibes. That's what I've gone on. I think it will be a strategy thing, which links to my ball prediction. I think it will be a strategy thing.
Yeah. This season, if anyone's going to make a mistake in strategy, it's going to be McLaren.
Yeah.
Not Ferrari. Somehow.
Yeah. It's like they've swapped.
I've put P3 Oscar Piastri.
Okay, you didn't put him in your top three.
No, but he's still going to be strong.
Yeah, definitely.
Stronger than Hamilton and Mercedes, I think.
Interesting. Okay. My P2 on that note is Lewis Hamilton.
You disagree?
Yeah, I disagree. Obviously I put George, Oscar, and Lando qualifying.
So Hamilton and Mercedes will have to have a good race, or someone else will have to have a bad race.
Exactly. So I'd think so. My race predictions are basically, I think that McLaren and Mercedes will be the strongest cars this weekend. And I think it will have a massive. I think strategy will have a massive impact on who is going to win. Obviously, that's the case, but as well as race pace, I think that will be the reason that whoever wins.
Okay. Interesting.
Obviously, it always plays a part, but you know what I mean.
That will make it a very exciting race.
Yeah.
Like the last two races, actually, they were kind of won with interesting strategies.
Yeah. It could be the case of there's a safety car, one driver decides to go in, one driver doesn't, and that costs them the win.
Yeah.
Something like that. Something along those lines is what I'm thinking.
Ooh, spicy. P2. Charles Leclerc.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see it. So do you think Mercedes and Ferrari will be the fastest cars this weekend? Or am I spoiling P1 for you?
No.
You don't think they're going to be the fastest? Interesting. Okay. So I think that George Russell...
I knew you were going to say it. Wow.
My other favourite driver.
Oh, that would be so good.
I think he's going to win. George Russell is going to win the Singapore Grand Prix.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you think he's going to make up for last year?
I think he's going to make up for last year. He'll want to prove himself. He was obviously quick here last year. Misfortunes happened. I think he's going to win. I think it's going to be the Mercedes one too.
Oh, he made a mistake.
No one would have predicted that in Spa.
True.
So you just don't know. So this is what I was thinking about on my drive, and I was like, George Russell is going to win the Singapore Grand Prix.
Okay. If that happens, right? I don't know why we haven't got a million subscribers, because you're just a fortune teller of F1.
I actually, if I get anything right this weekend, like significantly, I'm convinced I'm a psychic.
Yeah. Lando Norris is going to win this one, and I keep saying he's going to win every blooming race. I just
said, do you think McLaren and Ferrari are going to be the fastest
cars? You said Mercedes and Ferrari.
That's my bad. I misspoke. I said,
and that's why I was like, I knew you were going to say that, because I thought.
No. I thought you would have put Lando on there.
Then yes, I do.
Yeah. So similar to that. Well, I would argue that Mercedes was the fastest car last year in Singapore.
Yeah.
On race day. Because their pace at the end, they should have won.
Yeah, because they stopped again though. But it was
tricky.
Probably tricky between them and Ferrari.
Yeah.
But Norris he's got to win. And I keep saying that every single time.
He's got his special helmet.
I keep predicting he's going to win, and he keeps not. But if Leclerc qualifies pole, then there's less pressure on Lando from the start. And I just think that the McLaren is going to be quicker than the Ferrari. If they don't mess up their strategy, then Lando should overtake Leclerc. But Leclerc is good enough to hold on to P2.
Yep. I mean, do you know what? If George wins, if Lando wins, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Either way.
If Lewis wins.
Yeah.
If Charles wins.
Yeah.
If Oscar wins.
I'm happy. I'm just going to be happy. It's going to be great. On that note, let's move on to our bold predictions.
Carlos wins.
Yeah. Should we just name all 20 drivers?
No.
Okay. I think you're going to hate me for this one.
Why?
Because we said we weren't going to do this anymore. But this is... I have a reason. My first bold prediction is Danny Rick points.
Okay.
I think it was Ralph Schumacher said that Singapore will be Danny Rick's last race before he gets replaced by Liam Lawson, which I don't really like.
Well, there's a rumour today that Lawson's going to be in the car in 2025.
Yes, I think I heard they're going to announce it after Singapore. So I think Danny Rick's going to drive for his life, basically.
I don't know if it's that bold anymore to predict RB getting points though.
No.
But yeah,
If it is his last race,
it won't be his last race.
well, I hope not. That was obviously just Ralph Schumacher saying it in an interview. I think it's just his opinion. But yeah, I just want him to have a good end to the season if he's not going to be in a car next season. I just think that if he's not in a car next season, that's it for him.
Well, are there any seats left? Does Sauber have?
Yeah, but
Audi have
there's
seats filled.
I think James Bowles is trying to get Colapinto in that seat, which I think would be deserved. Well, he's had 2 races.
He's there, yeah. We'll hold judgment.
But from
yeah,
his performance so far, I think
certainly performed better than Logan Sargent so far in 2 races in F1.
Yeah.
So that I don't know where he is in the F2 Championship. I don't think he's like winning it or anywhere near.
no,
the top
he
or
won
anything.
1 sprint race, I think.
So like all this, it's obviously sad for Logan, but it's elite motorsport, like I always say.
Yeah.
It's cutthroat, and that's just how it is. And so all the whole narrative of maybe he wasn't ready, he was rushed into F1. It's like this guy has just jumped in.
Yeah.
In his second race, has got 4 points for the team, and he's looked really at home.
Definitely. And Ollie Behrman's got points in both his races as well. Like these rookies that want to get in from F2, they're obviously
It's sink or swim.
Yeah, they're not going to wait around and prove themselves. If they get put in that seat, they're going to prove themselves.
Exactly. So yeah. Right. What was my first pro prediction? So I predicted no safety car.
Ooh.
And I've carried on down the lines of like following what you're doing in like just looking at statistics and like trends.
Yeah.
And basing it off of things that have happened before. And there's been hardly any safety cars this season. And there was only one last race, right at the end.
Yeah.
And it's been such a clean season.
It has been,
Like
yeah.
before Baku, there wasn't one for like 7 races, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. But wasn't there 2 last year in Singapore?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like Singapore...
That's why I'm saying it's bold.
Yeah, that is bold. Yeah, I mean, it is bold, but it isn't. I feel like there's just, I feel like the trend of this season is no, not really any safety cars, but I can see why Singapore could be a track that's prone to safety cars.
Well, it's just walls everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so my whole logic was like, it's bold, but it's possible. It's based on fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that made my other predictions quite difficult to make.
Oh, okay.
So I'm
yeah.
very limited on what can
yeah.
happen in a 0 safety car race.
Yeah, that's fair. My second bold prediction is what I mentioned earlier. A bad pit stop will cost the pole sitter the win. And I've put Lando Norris on pole, but I think that still stands, obviously, if Lando doesn't get pole.
Okay.
I think that will be
Fine.
I think a bad pit stop will cost the pole sitter the win.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Not much to say about that, but...
Yeah, I feel like that just is self-explanatory, isn't it?
Yeah, could happen by Ferrari or McLaren, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if McLaren are...
Yeah, God,
Yeah.
that would just be tragic, wouldn't it?
Yeah, sad.
I've put that Red Bull will have a slow pit stop.
Ooh, maybe Red Bull will get pole and then lose it.
We'd both be right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
They're really good at pit stops, though.
That's what I mean. So that's why it's bold. But then the other side of it is they are on a run of bad form at the moment. And I feel like that energy might leak into other areas of their performance. And that's why I'm saying that. So again, bold, but based on current trends. And
Yeah. To be fair, I heard, this kind of relates, I heard Oscar's engineer, what's the word?
Race engineer.
Race engineer, yeah, sorry. My mind went blank. I heard his race engineer, after the race the other day, say Oscar's so calm that it keeps everyone in the garage calm, and like it's easier to relay information when he's so calm on the radio.
Yeah.
So if I can imagine if the Red Bull driver's a bit irate, that will cause the rest of the
Especially
team,
Max,
in the garage to get a bit kind of on edge and a bit tense as well.
I know why. It's the way they communicate, and Max and his engineer just have that like way of working together, and it's fine. But yeah, it's interesting because you'd think they'd just be used to it, but I guess human nature is like never really that you'll still be a little bit on edge. Like, oh, Max is gonna shout at me.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would have thought if he's always shouting at you, then you're kind of
used to it. But I think GP probably is used to it. But it might
Takes it
leak
back,
it might leak into the rest of the team though.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. It's just
It could. Well, it might not be the whole much like shouting on the radio. It might be like the stuff he says in interviews. You know, like everything's wrong with the car, and it's like, and then it gets in their heads of like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
Like, you know,
it's all about I think the atmosphere obviously makes such a big difference as well. So yeah. Anyway,
so
was that your second one?
That was my second one. Yeah.
Okay, my third one is Colapinto will get points again.
Right.
You're
up on Colapinto.
Yeah. I actually don't know if F2 race in Singapore or have raced in Singapore, so I don't know if he has raced around here. But I think he's going to do really well again. He was quite close to Alex Albon last race as well.
He was. They were on different strategies.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was putting a solid performance.
Yeah.
That's all I can really say about that.
I'm impressed with him.
I remember my last one actually. This one might be quite bold.
Okay.
But I think Perez is going to out-qualify Max again.
Oh, you're just stealing mine.
No, you said
I said
finish ahead.
Beat. I said beat.
Yeah.
Which is open to interpretation.
Well, I'm saying out-qualify.
Okay.
I just think, Max is just so frustrated with the car. He knows they're not going near the front, so he's just going to try different things and, maybe not be as calm and collected in himself as he has been, and maybe not stringing as good of a lap together as we know he's capable of. Because, he's probably the best driver on the grid at the moment.
Yeah.
But maybe it will just rattle his cage a little bit.
Maybe. You're going to do like a crazy one like Max Verstappen will qualify in P16. Something like
that. No, not that, but that would be interesting. And if that happens...
then clip this. With the date and time.
So, yeah. That's my third bold prediction. So, fairly bold across the board.
Fairly bold, yeah. I agree. Who do you think your driver of the day will be?
My driver of the day? Good question. Based on my predictions, it'd have to be Lando Norris.
Mine will have to be George Russell as well. I like to kind of switch it up and not make the winner driver of the day. But I think if George Russell wins this race, he'll be my driver of the day.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. I'm excited. It's going to be a good one.
Me too. Guess we call it there. Call it a day.
Yeah. Call it a day. Yeah.
All
right.
Well, thank you for listening, everyone. Thank you for watching. If you watch.
Yeah, or listen. Yeah.
That's what I said.
Okay.
I said that. Feel free to get involved. Tell us what you think in the comments. Give us a like, subscribe, all the good stuff.
Yeah.
But,
tell us your predictions.
Yeah. It's going to be a good one, hopefully. Another good race. Let's not take this season for granted, and let's recognise how good it's been so far. And long may it continue. But, yeah, until after the Singapore Grand Prix, we'll catch you next time.